Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks
Hello.
for coming.
Let's just start this conversation
take
by
it away.
saying that I'm sorry. I did not prepare for this even a little bit. And Maya has been freaking out for the past actually I was gonna say past 3 weeks, but you've been freaking out about us coming on stage and having this Q&A, having this talk for months at this point. You keep texting me about it.
I've texted Hasan like 3 times. He hasn't responded to any of them.
That's the most amount of follow-up I've ever gotten.
Today's the first day that we talked about this panel. So
Yes.
I want to do a good job. Hasan's not stressed. He feels fine. He doesn't care.
I'm a yapper. I'm a grade A yapper. And we're talking about something that's like very important to both of us. So I feel like it's not really something that we needed to prepare for, especially because we're talking about making change on Twitch. That's right. Everybody, I hope you guys are having a great time, by the way. TWITCHCON San Diego. Let's hear it. All right. Fantastic. A lot of change makers in this room. So, like I said, this is something that's very important. This is literally what you do with HasanAbi's, and this is something that I've also tried to do to the best of my ability with my community, with the fundraising initiatives that we have engaged in. We raised $1.3 million in the first couple of weeks after October 7 for Palestinian families. Yeah. Yeah, free Palestine. Same thing. Whenever horrifying disasters happen anywhere around the world, I always feel a sense of powerlessness because I'm here in America, and very fortunate, very privileged to be here, just like all of you. And one thing that I've realized is when I'm speaking to these issues, when I'm speaking to these ongoing atrocities, or devastating earthquakes like the one that hit Turkey and northern Syria, I found that fundraising is a really phenomenal vehicle for change in terms of maybe overcoming that sense of powerlessness that you feel in the face of horrifying inequalities or devastating things that occur. So I think that is a wonderful aspect of Twitch streaming in general, and I wanted to ask you, Maya, if you feel the same way.
I do. Hasan and I, the topics that we cover are very different, but I think our methods are very similar. So, as probably a lot of you know, hopefully a lot of you know, I have an animal sanctuary, HasanAbi's Sanctuary. Yes, thank you. Very nice. That's in Austin, Texas. It is entirely built off of Twitch as a platform, and it's so special to be able to educate people about conservation on Twitch because you guys are budding conscious consumers and voters and environmental advocates. And so it's a really special demographic to be able to teach. And that's why I love Twitch, and I have a lot of fun doing it. But Hasan and I do a lot of education on Twitch and a lot of activism and a ton of fundraising. It has been incredible to be on this platform.
Yeah. I think one aspect of live streaming in particular that lends itself so perfectly to fundraising and also awareness and education is the immediacy and the sense of community that you can create from said immediacy of the medium. I feel like I started off my career at the Young Turks where I would make Facebook videos, right? And also YouTube videos for the Young Turks. And I never got that immediate feedback that I would get from a chat. And I think that back and forth and that immediate feedback is really good, especially if you use it for good, especially if you use it to educate your community on best practices and use every opportunity as an educational moment. You can foster a community of like-minded individuals that truly care about the issues. And I think you've done a wonderful job with that, especially at HasanAbi's.
Thanks, Hasan.
Yeah.
It's also, so it's great for conservation education too. Before I started streaming, I was working at zoos. So you guys know the people that have the safari hat and bring the snakes out to birthday parties and introduce. So I was doing that, traditional conservation education outreach. And with Twitch and streaming, we're able to do that. HasanAbi's is reaching about 30 million people a year now, which is very, very cool. But our animals aren't leaving our facility, so we don't have to do any of that transport. They don't really have to meet a bunch of new people, but they're still affecting so many. So that model for us has been perfect also.
So at this point, do we give a microphone to people in the community to ask questions? Oh, they do. All right, I'm seeing some people on that side. You ain't got nobody on your side.
Yeah, so this is Hasan's microphone line. If you have questions for Hasan, you're going to line up over there. If you have questions for me, you're going to line up over here. We're going to alternate between them.
All right,
start over here.
All right, we'll get started.
Wait, does that mean I can't ask you any questions?
You can ask me a question.
You can ask her a question.
Well, I want to ask Hasan questions first.
Okay.
But
All right, what's happening?
What's good, Hasan? First of all, I want to say thank you for all the work you did with the Bay Lords. That shit was fire. Congratulations for raising a shitload of money for a good cause. I appreciate people like you that use your platform to push initiatives that help change the world and make an effect on the community. So.
Hell yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I've actually trolled you before in your chat, so I'm sure the chat will check. G-check me on something to remember. Look at that. Actually, don't look at that. Sorry. Man.
I can't see from over here.
It was all in good fun, but no.
I'm an old man.
I want to ask you is how do small streamers like myself, kind of like under 200 followers, use our platform and our small communities to try to drive some change? Like for example, for me, I had an ambulance situation like last year. I'm kind of a young guy, so I was like, caught me off guard, and I got a bill for the ambulance. Have you guys ever been picked up by an ambulance? The EMS bills are crazy. So then that became like something I was like really passionate about. I wrote a letter to the Councilman Krikorian in LA, and I also wrote a letter to the mayor as well. Didn't get any response. But like, how do people from our level, down here, get like engagement from people who can make change?
I think that everything that I do, one thing that I always repeat is like, I'd be saying the exact same things, even if I had 30 people watching, and I was saying the exact same things when I first started with 30 people watching. I think ultimately the impact that you have, even if it's on one person, is still very significant, and you have to remind yourself of that and keep putting your best foot forward no matter what, and not bring size into the equation at all. I don't think it's an issue that you have a smaller community. I think what you're doing as a citizen is impactful individually, but beyond that, the fact that you can motivate other people and you can bring awareness to certain problems like that, especially in terms of healthcare, like what you just said about the EMS, like what you said about ambulances, like that was a massive point of radicalization for myself as well. Like I took for granted a nationalized healthcare system in Turkey when I was growing up. There's also a private aspect to it as well. You can get private healthcare in Turkey as well and go to private hospitals. But like when I came to America and that option was taken away, I was like, holy shit, this is like $5,000 to go to the hospital. Like it's insane. And I think it's great that you now have a platform that you can speak to that and get other people on board as well. And you can participate in larger projects. Oftentimes when we're doing these sorts of fundraisers, like everybody pitches in. Like one thing that I always stress is it doesn't matter if you're only giving $1, right? Like that is still going towards a broader cause. That's still going towards a larger cause. And I think every single person matters in that regard. So, keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate you telling me size doesn't matter when you came in here like 6'6", big as shit.
He's got platforms.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay, we're gonna go over here.
Hi. So I'm a teacher, and I wanted to ask you about kind of tips for teaching the future generations about conservancy. I am actually an art teacher, but I do a lot with sustainability in my classroom, so I just wanted to ask you about that.
Wonderful, cool. So I'll give a little more of a rundown of HasanAbi's. So we rescue animal ambassadors, and they all represent different areas of places we want to teach people, right? So we have foxes, we teach people about the fur trade. We have parrots, we teach people about the pet trade. And I think that ambassador model is really, really powerful. So especially the kids, if you want to teach them about keeping waterways clean, having, even if it's a cartoon, like having a frog and saying, his name is Georgie, for example. that helps them a lot.
Georgie.
He loves Georgie. But giving them something to connect to makes them care about it a lot more. That's what we do at Alveus, is they care about the ambassador and then care about their wild counterpart. So that's my best advice for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She's saying kidnap some animals, find them, and then get the kids to pet the animals.
I said, even if it's a cartoon, you can use Georgie if you want. Okay, great.
Georgie.
He's live 24/7 on Alveus Sanctuary on Twitch. Check it out.
All right, what's going on?
Hi, my name's Manasi. Love you guys both so much. Been a fan for a long time. Thanks for what you guys are doing. This is a two-part question. One is kind of about the future of fundraising on Twitch. So as you guys both raise money all the time through Twitch, if you could fix and or implement like one thing on the platform that could improve that for just overall reach, if that means like insert charity here is included, what would that look like? And secondly, how do, kind of following up on his question, secondary, like how do smaller creators use that to do more effective change rather than just like momentary monetary support?
I was looking at you for some reason. I was like, maybe you got this.
I actually really like a lot of Twitch features for fundraising. So Alveus is on Twitch Charity, which is wonderful because then they donate through Twitch and then we get it in a grant separately, and so it's all very clean and nice. Twitch is really powerful for fundraising because of what Hasan was talking about earlier, that immediate, they donate and you say thank you blank, you know, there's a connection there, which is really cool. The only thing that comes into mind, which would be cool but is not necessary, is like badges potentially. Like if you're doing a fundraising stream, if you could set a badge like this person has donated this much, they get a special badge during that stream. Are really cool. Twitch viewers also really like the I was there concept. So if there's like a badge for being at a fundraising stream and participating in it, and you have it for like a month or something like that, would be neat.
Damn, that was brilliant. I got no notes on that, honestly, because we use a lot of third-party facilitators in this process. We use Tiltify on my stream for a lot of the fundraisers that we're engaging in, and I don't know if like substituting that out for like a Twitch facilitated processor would be better or worse overall. But I think Tiltify works fairly well, you know, so I have no issues on that front. I think a little bit more integration, like whether it be a third-party application or more integration from Twitch's side in terms of like setting markers, having those markers appear integrated in the user interface would probably be one additional note that I would add on to that. But as far as like small content creators, I feel like this is a question that's going to come up a lot. Like, I want to stress that over and over again. Like everything that you're doing, even if you are a small content creator, an up-and-coming content creator, right? And you have a certain set of values, and someone comes into your chat and violates those boundaries, right? Like let's say you want to ensure that you want to create as safe of an educational space as possible for marginalized communities, right? Like trans people, for example. And someone comes in and does something that goes beyond a microaggression and is not like genuinely charitable and is actually harmful to the overall discourse. When you stop that dead in its tracks, and you speak out against that and use that as an educational opportunity, you are teaching however many people are in your chat that that is not right and that it is wrong and that those are your boundaries. And I think that creates a really positive environment overall, at least in my experience. And I think that's the reason why we conduct a survey every year in my community. We do the HasanAbi's census. And my community is majority queer, and 14%, as a matter of fact, or 15% now, my community is trans. I mean, that is massively overrepresented in comparison to like trans people overall in the American population. And a reason for that is not because I speak to trans issues on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, I don't. But that is because it is obviously an environment where trans people feel comfortable being themselves, knowing full well that like someone is not going to be able to attack them. And I think fostering a community like that is also very important beyond like doing fundraisers for specific issues.
Awesome. No, thank you so much.
No problem.
Over here.
Hey, so I was recently elected to the board of a nonprofit, and I'm going to start running the Twitch channel for it. But I also want to do like my own channel, and like you have both like kind of working. I'm just kind of wondering if there's any challenges that you could face during that process.
Yeah, sure. So some challenges, it's mostly been incredible. Because my platform, my main platform, Maya, acts as a funnel for HasanAbi's still, because it's a much larger platform. So I'm able to bring a bunch of people that watch the just chatting content and like me being on Hasan stream and stuff like that to HasanAbi's, which is really, really neat. Challenges there, I think it's super not traditional. So I might be on Hasan stream eating mealworms and drinking and swearing and whatever. And that's not necessarily
You
representative.
still owe me a collab, by the way, but you know this.
What do you mean?
You do.
Oh, a trash cleanup?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna clean up trash together. He's really worried about it.
That was not my first.
You made me
That was not my
collab.
first choice of how to collab, but
We're gonna pick up trash together. He's gonna love it. So the challenge there potentially is that brand that Maya is not necessarily representative of the brand that HasanAbi's is as an educational nonprofit. They're very different. All that being said, I have kept doing it the way that I started doing it because I think it makes me a better educator, weirdly. I always compare it to people reading something on a billboard, right? As you're driving by, you're probably not gonna soak it in, but if there's someone that you know that's really passionate about something and they're talking to you about it and they're like, I love this so much, you're gonna remember it better. And so I think it makes me a better educator. So there's give and take there, but that's my answer.
Thank you.
Hey, Hasan, thank you for all you do for the community. We spend so much time watching you and you're a part of our daily lives, and we appreciate all the energy that you give for that. Your point of view and your voice are super meaningful for us. Huge fan and love everything you do for charity. I think many of us were waiting for the other day when you were finally cream pied by Austin Show for charity. So thank you. Super big highlight.
yeah, that really did happen.
It did.
The dry cleaner was like, they gave me a call this morning feverishly and were like, we've never seen so much cream on pants. Like, I don't, like, cause I overnighted it. I was like, oh, can I get like an overnight express, like cleaning on this? And they called me, they were like, we're gonna need more time. So, Austin participated in that. And so did you guys by donating. Thank you so much once again. We raised $50,000 last night at Debate Lords for multiple charities.
How much did you raise last night?
50,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's nothing.
crazy.
You got $100,000 just by standing there from Twitch. They only gave me 10.
They do like me more.
Yeah.
Thank you, staff, everybody.
So my question was that I know that me and many of your community are curious about charity, and we applaud all you do. We have a burning need to know how many subs at the top of the hour do we need to hit to reduce the gameplay at the end of your streams? So, for charity, so we can focus more on politics.
You hit me at 249. Okay, normally I would be banning you. Okay, I'd be banning you normally. Wait, that's the only question you wanted to serve me a 3-minute ad break?
For seriously, I mean, I was previewing it for you, but how do you get inspired for new charity ideas that cut through the noise of this space in general?
I have a really dark answer for this, unfortunately, and that is that everything is fucked up all the time, and things unfortunately never change for the better, seemingly. But I'm a firm believer in putting your best foot forward, and I consistently reiterate that society can only foster if old men plant seeds for trees they will never sit in the shade of. So I guess it's a target-rich environment out there. There's a lot of suffering going on. So, every day I speak to these issues, and sometimes some of those become very pressing matters, and that's when I choose to take action against it. But there's a lot of stuff that we could be fundraising for at any given moment.
All right, Habib?
This side is much better. This is like they're like cute animal related things.
Hi, I'm Laura. Thank you both for all y'all do on Twitch and your fundraising. I'm also an animal conservationist.
Cool.
So you're a huge inspiration to me. I wanted to know if you had any tips about teaching about animals whenever you don't physically have the animals there. Because I'm a VTuber, so I don't really show myself or anything. And I've started doing animal education, and my community loves it, but I want it to feel more interactive.
Yeah, so I guess I think the next best thing is videos. I still think you could use the ambassador concept. I still think you could find videos or pictures or something and get your community attached to a specific animal and get them to be more interested in it that way. I don't know enough about VTubing to know if this is like a possibility, but I know that some VTubers are like moving through virtual worlds of sorts, you know, like walking through a rainforest or walking through whatever. It would be I would love to see a series of a VTuber walking through habitats.
Okay, I got a suggestion. Get a VTuber avatar that's like an animal.
They have those.
Yeah, do a furry VTuber avatar. Like Winnie the Moo, but VTuber avatar. See, people like it.
HasanAbi, everybody.
I miss Winnie so much. It's fine. Okay, my idea was bad. Go ahead. Go.
No, I finished my answer. It was Hasan's answer.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
All right, what do we got here?
Hi. So, to start, I just want to say I'm a huge fan of you, Hasan. My 10-month subversary is actually today.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I think.
I'm also hitting about a year of tier 3 Patreon sub on Fear and.
Hell yeah, the greatest podcast. Much better
Second
than.
greatest podcast.
I won't even say the word whine about it.
And I talked to Maya a bit about this when I was at her meet and greet, but I'm actually here to tour a college where I'm hoping to study something involving government and go into a government job. But right now I'm a junior in high school, and I'm just wondering how, like, for young people who feel like there is no way for them to do anything for their voice to be heard, what do you suggest that they could do to kind of make a difference in their community?
No, I think your voice is very impactful. I think your voices do matter. We have seen that in action, as a matter of fact. And the example I will use in this situation is the way that the Western world has viewed what is going on in Gaza. In my lifetime, I've been an outspoken advocate for Palestinian emancipation for the past decade professionally as a political commentator and before that as well. And I saw the dramatic shift in attitude and the recognition that a lot of people had for the struggles that Palestinians go through on a daily basis. And that was, especially in the Western world, that was largely a direct consequence of people like yourself from your generation watching and seeing the struggles that Palestinians go through and recognizing their humanity as a direct consequence of seeing it on social media and then taking matters into your own hands and going out and protesting. And I think that every voice in this situation matters. Every email that you send, every phone call that you make to your politicians matter. Ultimately, it seems like change doesn't happen overnight, but it absolutely matters what you do. So you just keep up that pressure and never let up. And beyond that, it seems like you're already personally invested in making that change by infiltrating the government and working. So I think that you're already doing it. So keep up the good work.
Hello.
Hello.
As someone who is very self-aware with my trash and recycling and trying to
pick up after yourself. How do you not get demoralized when you clean up a place and it immediately seems to fill with trash?
Ooh, the conservation existential crisis. Yes, a tough one. Trash cleanups are awesome. Thank you for doing that. Number one, very, very cool. I think that one very specific thing maybe to think about, and I talk about amphibians a lot on my stream, that they have this semi-permeable skin and they're really sensitive to pollutants because when there's runoff into waterways, it can affect all those individual amphibians. So if you're cleaning up trash and it's not there for a few weeks, you are positively affecting the animals in that area. So that's really important. It sucks that it keeps happening. But if you're not doing it, nobody's doing it, and then it's going to pile up and become a way bigger issue, potentially to the point where it's uninhabitable for the animals in that area. So you just got to keep it up. You know, you're putting on the good fight. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'll stop throwing the trash over there.
Yeah, Hasan is the problem. Hasan litters.
That's my bad. All right.
Hi, Hasan. My name is Lev Katz, or just Kat. I'm a half Lebanese variety streamer and a Lebanese American. My question, first of all, thank you for everything you've done for Palestine, Free Palestine.
Hell yeah.
My family is in the southern Lebanon border, and I try really hard as a white passing Lebanese American to speak out and to educate as many of my, white friends as possible. My question is, how do you deal with, you've raised so much money for Gaza. How do you deal with all the hate for, raising that much money for such an important cause?
Well, that's a tough one, because the thing is, I'm a pretty white passing, cisgender, heterosexual guy who's 6'4", right? So overall, like, a lot of the things that normally would directly target other marginalized individuals, if you're a woman, someone can objectify you, someone can like diminish you and depersonalize, dehumanize you by being a misogynist, and that kind of attitude is like super normalized. The one aspect of my personality that I withstand direct attacks against is obviously being a Muslim and being Turkish. And I guess there's not really anything you can do. It sucks. I don't know how else to go about it other than hope that your message reaches people and that it changes their minds and they see you as a person and not operating in this like monolithic fashion because you have some cynical approach to the subject matter because you're personally biased. And that your bias is somehow sinister, and it's not that you're biased to see the humanity in people that are, your family members, people living in Lebanon, people who are victims of Western imperialism. And, it's just, we're living in a post 9/11 war on terror world, and I think a lot of people who are from that part of the world, who are Muslim or even Christian, who are Arab, definitely realized that, like, for a lot of Americans, that was a real comfortable skin to wear. Like, they flipped that shit on like that. Like, when I saw Dr. Oz get almost elected as a Republican in Pennsylvania, I was like, damn, like, that motherfucker's a Sunni Muslim. Like, he's running against a dude that, is awful, and I'm not gonna get into that, but, like, I was like, that's a Muslim guy running on the Republican ticket. Like, I thought this was, the war on terror country, and I thought things were changing. It turns out, obviously, post October 7, I was wrong. People were waiting for the opportunity. But the reality of the matter is, you just, I guess, never show weakness and never give people the pleasure of feeling like they got you, that they made you feel a certain way by so easily and in such an awful way, such a cynical way, just make you feel less of a human being, less than a human being, because it's that easy for people. And everyone in this room knows this from one point or another. Like, if you're a black person, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where, if you're a woman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a trans person, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just, all it takes is like one word to rob you of your humanity. And people are so callous in their indifference to that, and so easily they weaponize that against you in an effort to basically own you in that immediate moment. So just don't give in, and try to take on the emotional labor personally to the best of your ability, and you know, keep as cool of a face as you possibly can. That's what really motivates me, honestly. Sorry for, you know, filibustering the conversation, but that's what really motivates me, is that I always think about like the sweaty little edgelord on the other side of the computer who's like pathetic and fucking hates their life, and I don't want to give him even an ounce of gratification. So, you know, that's, I do get motivated by spite in that regard when in moments like that. So you can carry that on as a lesson, I hope.
I'm with you in the spite thing, 100%. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I don't know how Hasan does it, honestly. That was some golden advice. It's good advice.
Hi, I'm Aiden. So I'm going into my last year of a wildlife and conservation degree, and I'm kind of like, where do I go from there? Especially as someone who's disabled and trans, it's like, I've done a lot of volunteer work, but how do I switch that to something that's a bit more accessible, but still involves animals?
Okay, so I have a lot of different kinds of advice depending on what kinds of things you're looking at doing. So one of the pieces of advice I give all the time that you guys have some of you have probably heard, is if you want to work with like big cats, if you want to work with tigers or something, you have to start by volunteering at a cat shelter, like a dog and cat shelter. Any animal care experience is good animal care experience, so the volunteering is an excellent start. Generally, people will go volunteering and then they'll get an internship and then become staff somewhere. So internships is probably the next thing I would look at. If you're not able to do the physical labor, there's a lot of needs as someone who runs a nonprofit at animal care nonprofits that are not animal care. So there's administrative work, there's marketing work, we need artists, I pay artists to make flyers and stuff like that. There's educational curation. I have people that help me with research that curate educational programs. So that's something that you can do from a computer at home that directly benefits animals. There's tons of jobs that you can do that aren't scooping shit.
Yeah, because I have about 10 years of volunteer experience with the wild animals. I especially like birds, so
Cool.
it's
Me
like
too.
trying to figure out where I want to be able to do hands-on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but still not get hurt, basically.
Right, yeah. Find somewhere that has internships and see what the job description is of those internships. It also depends on the types of animals you're working with. Maybe some smaller red songbirds would make more sense than eagles and stuff like that, but you'll find your way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right, next question.
Hello, I'm a big fan of Hasan, even bigger fan of Kaya. Because of you, I've been more active in protests and fundraisers online. And because of that, I've run into a lot of people who are just curious, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, how do you choose your battles? How do you determine when it's best to try to educate someone versus ignore them?
I mean, I'm a really stubborn piece of shit, as you guys know. So I will, no matter what, if someone is coming in to be like, why are you the worst person and also an Islamist fundamentalist? Just curious. Like, even if they say that, like, I'm gonna approach that. Because I don't want to ever squander an educational opportunity, given that like it's not directly about that person who's asking that question, but it's also all of the people that are just tuning in that situation. But in a one-on-one conversation, if that's what is that what you're asking about, like a one-on-one conversation?
Yeah.
Well, that's a little different, I think. You have to read the situation and see for yourself if this person is like truly hostile, wants to genuinely hear your perspective, or if they are just shooting the shit. And if they're doing that, then yeah, you're like, in the real world, I think in many instances it's a lot more difficult to like, in some ways it's a lot easier to change someone's mind if they're not coming in as a hostile entity. But if they're just simply there to like debate you and just like demoralize you and exhaust you, then there's no reason to take on that task at all. So I guess it's totally situational. It's totally dependent on the other party, and you got to make that read on your own. But always be charitable. Like, always assume that the other person is charitable. I think that's the best practice. Thank you.
Well, hello.
Hello.
So Maya, you've done a ton of different types of fundraising, like, you know, the guests and stuff. What's your favorite to do? Which one do you have the most fun doing?
Who's your favorite guest that you've ever had on HasanAbi's?
My favorite collaborator, person who's come to HasanAbi's. Are you wanting me to say you?
I mean,
Hasan's community did raise $30,000 for HasanAbi's.
Well, they did.
So he gets points for that. I liked Ray. So, she was excellent. She was not afraid of anything. She was really nice to all the animals. They all loved her.
They love me too, okay? The animals love me.
Everyone was fine with Hasan except for the chinchillas. They wouldn't stop touching them.
You're just jealous that Winnie and I clicked.
What was my favorite fundraiser? So we do a lot at HasanAbi's. We do them annually. I think my favorite one that we do is probably our art auction. So our animals learn how to paint voluntarily in lots of different ways. Some of them actually hold sponges and paintbrushes, and some of them just wiggle over a canvas kind of thing. But the paintings are always wonderful, and we auction them off every year. That one's probably my favorite, because then the people that are buying them get like a piece of the sanctuary and something really special. And it's something that all of our animal care staff who's here today gets to participate in too. So it's a really special one.
Thank you. I agree.
All right.
Hey Hasan, hey Maya.
I think, by the way, sorry, do we have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so we're going to take one more question from each side, I think, right?
All right, we'll be concise.
All right.
Both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this concise too. My special cause that's close to my heart is colon cancer research. And after my dad passed away from it, and whenever I was researching different places to donate to, it felt confusing, like there were so many options and I didn't know who was legit, who wasn't. And that happened with Palestine as well. Like I didn't know like who was legit for sure. So I was wondering what your guys' experiences were for that. Like, do you have a team that screens that, or do you personally get into screening it?
I personally get into screening it, but you're absolutely correct. There are a lot of charities out there that are, especially when it comes to Gaza. There are a lot of charities beyond like the normal 501c3 operations that are already kind of shady to begin with, but like with foreign, with issues that are in areas that like America has purposefully shut off like normal payment processors from. It becomes a really tricky situation, but I obviously have a network of activists that I rely on that I can talk to specifically in moments like this, and not only advocates, but like, you know, family members that know exactly which charities are directly working on the ground despite the limitations. So it does require a lot of research ahead of time before investing all this time and energy into it, but I think it's very valuable, and you're on the right track when you're thinking about it like that. Now, in terms of colon cancer, I would assume that like the issues that you run into are the regular 501c3 problems, like people probably know this, or I don't know. I mean, the most famous case of this is the Red Crescent, right? Like, millions of dollars are donated by individuals who think they're doing the right thing, and they are doing the right thing in that moment, and then Red Crescent takes that and squanders it and basically utilizes 99% of those funds to I don't know, pay off like executives or whatever. And I think that that's truly horrific. So it definitely requires a little bit of research ahead of time. before making any sort of like time commitment or any sort of additional commitments in terms of fundraising. But it's always good.
Sorry, totally interrupted. I thought you were
Go ahead.
Nonprofits also have their financial reports available online, or their 990s, and you can look through those if you want to do that research. If you go on their website, it'll be on there if it's a legitimate nonprofit.
Yeah.
That's a great flyer.
Okay, last one really quick, or are we done?
No, let's get one from your...
One more.
Yeah.
Hi. You guys, first of all, lots of respect to both of you for all the work that you do to make a better world, right? My question is just, how do you see vegan lifestyle, plant-based eating fitting into that? Because it's something that we can all participate in.
Dude, you are brawling. Are you vegan?
Like, so I mean, like, that's like...
You're vegan?
Yeah.
God damn. This dude's just eating so much pea protein, bro. You got... That shit tastes so bad, sorry. Oh, also, can I want to cut in real quick, sorry. I said Red Crescent, I was talking about Red Cross. I apologize. That was my mistake earlier when I was talking about a charity fraud. But go ahead, sorry.
No, so I mean, how do you guys feel in regards to that? Obviously, there's lots of ways to promote it.
Bro, you're a walking billboard. What do you mean lots of ways to promote it? Look, how much do you weigh?
210.
God damn, how tall are you? Sorry.
That's crazy.
What do you, look at him. Look at him. He's a fucking...
We can talk after if you want.
He's FDA approved steak over here.
That's crazy. Veganism. I think veganism is great. I think it's great both in regards to animal welfare, because obviously it is the absolute best that you can do for animal welfare, and it's great environmentally, generally speaking too. So if that's something that you guys are able to participate in, even if it's not black and white, I'm vegan now, even if it's trying vegan meals every once in a while, and that doesn't have to be like a fake meat product or like a packaged, this is a vegan thing. There are lots of things that you can do to have a vegan diet that are not that crazy. You can do a lot of beans, you can do a lot of quinoa and lentils and stuff like that, and just try it out. There's tons of recipes online, and I think it's something that a lot of more people need to give a try. But I think it's also, I understand that it could be tough to make that full switch, both in terms of lifestyle and financially sometimes, and all that. But give it a try.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
I
question.
just want to get some input and get that out there, so yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you, everybody.
What do you guys think?
Thank you all for joining us today to talk about fundraising and the impact the community has on Twitch. That'll be all for our panel. Thank you so much, Maya. Thank you to our host as well, and thank you to everyone that participated, asked questions, and thank you for continuing to support us and watch and you know, help us out with our fundraisers. You guys are, what we do would be meaningless without you. I'd still be yelling in a room by myself, but you know, it's you guys that actually go out there and put these words into action, and that's how change happens. So never forget that. You all play a very important role, a much more important role than myself. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.